Long calls and long puts are the simplest way to trade direction with options. Unfortunately, most traders misuse them. Let's dive in and let's take a closer look at trading long puts and give you the exact criteria that we use to take these trades with our members on a weekly basis. You're going to have the step-by-step guideline that you can use right away to take a bearish position. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If you are interested in trading long calls, we also have a video on our YouTube channel covering those call options specifically, so you can always jump on over there and review that, because we want you to be prepared for anything the market throws your way. Now, if we take a look at the chart up on the screen, we all know this because we're interested in trading options, right? But we have seen the explosive growth over the years with these products, and especially since 2020. You can see that explosive growth over the past number of years to now we're trading over 50 million contracts on a daily basis. The options markets are really driving all market activity on a daily basis. So you're in the right spot. I don't see anything changing, right? If you go back a number of years, we were stuck trading monthly options. Now we have weekly cycles, daily cycles. Some of the tech stocks now have Monday, Wednesday, Friday cycles. There's just a tremendous opportunity for us, and it's not changing. They're just going to continue to add more and more products, giving us more opportunity on a regular basis. Now, I know you know that because you're here looking for more information on how to buy long puts. But the key takeaway here is the people that are going to make it long term are the ones that have a very rules-based approach in place. Rules that are going to guide every decision that you make. I mentioned a lot of traders are using incorrect approaches with these products. You don't want to fall into that camp of getting lucky and winning a couple of trades and then follow that up with losing everything you got, right? You want to use proper risk rules. You want to have a rules-based approach. If you can do that, you are going to be far ahead of the game long term. Now, why long options? We're all attracted to the amazing leverage that they offer. When we can control a pretty decent sized stock position with as little as a couple $100 or less by using an option, that's huge. We can go where the action's at. We can trade the high-flying tech stocks. We can go trade Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, and we can do so with a small account. A lot of the trades that we take are risking $200 to $500. Very reasonable for a lot of retail accounts. If you've got the larger account, you can scale very easily as well. You can take these trades with one contract. You can take these trades with 50 contracts. You can scale easier in trading than any other business. We're not having to put up new facilities, adding on additional staff. All we're simply doing is using the same system, just bumping up our position size over time. That's very, very attractive. And the best news is that we're doing all of this with controlled risk. I know what my max loss is right up front anytime I put on an option position. If I buy a long put option, my risk is limited to whatever I pay for that option. That allows the retail trader like you and me to better control our risk compared to any other market out there. And that's why we believe options are superior to any other market out there. There's things you can do on the option side that you just can't do with anything else. Now let's focus in on the long puts. The key here is if you're going to buy a long put option, you absolutely have to have a bearish outlook. Because when I buy a put option, I have one way of making money. That stock has to move to the downside. If it does, we are going to be rewarded for it. It's not uncommon to have a 50, 75, 100% return in a matter of days with a put option that takes advantage of the stock moving lower. And we all love this P&L graph. Who wouldn't, right? Unlimited profit potential, limited risk. That is huge, right? So long as the stock moves lower, we make money. If we're on the wrong side of the trade, our risk is limited to whatever we pay for that option. I can't lose any more than that investment. Now, our duration on these trades, we talk about a 1 to 20-day hold. I'm going to break it down to both swing trades and active trades. The criteria is slightly different in how we structure our trades. I'm going to give you the criteria for both because there's a time and a place for both. And I recommend that you do use a good mix of trades. We want that diversification. We all love the active day trades. We love that instant gratification, but the market doesn't always make it that easy. There's going to be times where I want to hold upwards of 20 days. I hate to call them long-term position trades because they're not. We're not holding for months at a time, but I do like to have trades on that I don't have to sit there and watch from opening to closing bell. Now let's start out and let's go through the criteria here. Some of this may seem very basic, but it is absolutely important because this addresses many of those roadblocks that trip retail traders up. First and foremost, number one, we have to wait for our system to produce a valid setup that fits our trade plan. If you don't have a system in place that gives you exact entry points, exit points, highly recommend that you pause. Take a step back, get that system in place first. If you don't have a system giving you exact entry and exit points, what's going to happen is you're basing your decisions off of emotion. You're going to be influenced by every little move back and forth, or influenced by what you're hearing in financial media. I'll show my charts in just a moment, and you're going to see I have an exact entry, an exact exit plan before I ever put a trade on. And that limits the emotion. It allows me to stay more disciplined, and I can trade with much more confidence. Now, if you don't have a system in place, if that's something where you're saying, hey, I need help with that, Mike, feel free to reach out. Post a comment on the YouTube video, or you can reach out to us, info@netpicks.com. Be more than willing to get you some additional resources on a system that may fit what you're looking to accomplish. Now, step number 2, make sure that options on the stock have an open interest of at least 30 times the number of contracts that you're looking to trade. We want to go to where the liquidity is at. I don't want to go to the cheap, out-of-the-money options that have no liquidity, because it's going to be more difficult for me to get filled quickly and at good pricing. So if you're looking to trade 10 contracts, you want to have at least 300 contracts of open interest. Even better if that number's upwards of 50 to 100 times, right? The more liquidity, the easier it is to trade that product. Step number 3, I already touched on this, but you're going to hear me repeat myself, and that is by design. I want this to really stick into your approach. Number 3, have those target points and exit points before entering the position. Plan your trade, trade your plan. Very, very important. If you don't have that in place, guess what? You're going to be influenced by every little move back and forth. The minute the market moves in your favor or against you, you're going to want to take that position off, right? Out of fear of losing money, or out of fear of giving up your profit. You want to have a plan in place that you can stay disciplined to. That's going to allow you to maximize your profit potential while limiting your risk. Step number 4, form an opinion on how long you feel the move in the stock is going to take. How do you do that? Step number 5, do some back testing. Load up the product that you're looking to trade. If it's Apple, load up a chart of Apple. Take a look at the past dozen trades. Get a feel for what is the average holding time. Just take a look at the chart. Just see how if the stock starts to move, how long does that typical move take? Is it 3 to 5 days? Is it 3 to 5 weeks? That's going to help in the next steps when we talk about picking your expiration cycle and picking your strike prices. You're going to make those decisions off of what a typical trade looks like, not based off of what you feel you can afford or what looks most attractive price-wise. That's not a fun stage going through the testing process, but it's absolutely crucial. And once you get through that, you're going to trade with a higher level of confidence. And I say that from experience. Now, here's where it starts to get fun. How do we select the expiration and the strike prices? We're going to talk about the swing trades first. Then we'll get into the active trades. The criteria is slightly different just based on the expected holding time on these trades. And again, use a mix of trades. Diversification, so important. I would rather have you take a larger number of small positions versus throwing all your eggs in one basket, just throwing them all into 1 or 2 trades, because if those trades don't work, now you're in a large drawdown. You're losing confidence. You want to give up. We don't want to fall into that trap. Mix up your markets, mix up your holding times, mix up your trade types. The more layers of diversification, the better off you will be long term. On a swing trade, we like to look for between 20 and 40 days left to expiration. It could be a weekly option. It could be a monthly option. We just want to have 20 to 40 days left. Why? If my average swing trade is held for between 1 and 20 days, why am I going out 40 days in some cases? I want to have a little bit of a time buffer there. The minute you buy an option, you're holding a ticking time bomb. It's losing value every day. I'm okay with that because I know if the directional move works out in my favor, if the stock moves in my favor, I'm going to make enough money to offset that time decay, right? Going out 20 to 40 days, the time decay is still there. We're just able to limit it somewhat. Now, I'm going to go 1 to 2 strikes in the money from the entry point on the chart. I'm going to go to those in the money options. The further in the money that we go, the less impact the time decay has on our trades. Even though it's tying up more capital, we're getting what we pay for. We're getting a higher quality position. We're starting to stack some things in our favor. And then finally, sound familiar? Manage the trade following your trade plan. I'm repeating that over and over again because it is probably the top reason why most retail traders fail. They don't have a plan in place that they can stay disciplined to. Now, with the active trades, a lot of what we just talked about holds true here. Wait for your system to produce a setup. Have a plan in place for your targets and your stops ahead of time. The main difference here is just the duration of the trade. If the expectation is that we're going to get out in 1 to 3 days, I can utilize an option that has between 3 and 10 days left to expiration. In many cases, it's going to be a weekly option or going out a couple of weeks. We're able to use those shorter term options because we're confident of a quick directional move. It could come in a period of active volatility. The market's swinging back and forth. You're very confident of a quick move. The benefit here is if it does make a quick move, you're going to make more money on the trade. You're going to be rewarded for it. So 3 to 10 day option still builds in a little bit of a time buffer there, just like the swing trades, just in case the trade takes a little bit longer than expected. We've got a little bit of time there where we can hold and hopefully let the market move in our favor. The strike prices. This is where I don't mind trading right at the money or going slightly out of the money. Those options are going to be cheaper. I'm okay with that because I'm confident that the quick directional move is going to happen. And those options are going to benefit from the gamma picking up on that short duration move. This, no doubt about it, the active trades are the more aggressive approach, higher risk, higher reward type of scenario. Not saying you do it exclusively. Does it have a time and a place? Absolutely, you should have it as part of your trade plan. And then just like the swing trades, just make sure you're managing the trade following the rule-based system that you have in place. Let's jump over to the charts and let's put this into practice. In live markets, let's take a look at a trade that is in progress so you can see all the pieces put together here. This is a chart of Halliburton. It's a 130-minute time frame, and you're going to notice I have some indicators on the chart. This is our custom system that we use on our side to identify the trades for us. The goal of this video is to not teach you the system. It's a topic for another day. But this is an example of how, for me, if you take a look at this red setup right here, that's a short trade. That's a bearish setup. My first red dot, that's my entry point. I have 2 targets down below. I have a stop up above. The whole trade is mapped out for me. It's either a setup or it's not. It's a setup here, so I know exactly where to get in, where to get out. There's no guesswork involved. I don't have to do a bunch of research, track it all day long. I know where to get in, where to get out before I ever pull the trigger on a trade. Now you can see my first red dot here over on the right hand side. You'll see in my data window that the entry point's at 33.09 and that level was hit. As soon as that entry point is hit, that's the green light for me to come in and buy a long put option. Let's jump over to the broker platform. Let's go ahead and take a look at Halliburton. We're going to use a swing trade on this approach. My expectation is it might take a little bit longer to complete. Let's go out to the February options here at the time of this video. They have 23 days left to expiration. I want to see in that 20 to 40 day window knowing this is a swing trade. I want to take a look at buying a long put option. Okay, the trade triggered in today. Let's try to get slightly in the money. So if I go to the 34 put or the 34.5 put, if I go to the 34 put, it's slightly in the money. We have plenty of open interest, 1,600 contracts of open interest. Remember, I just want that number to be 30 times the number of contracts that I'm looking to trade. Plenty of liquidity here. If I buy that 34 put, it's trading for right around $1.45. $145 per contract gives me control over the downside here. That option is going to increase in value as Halliburton moves to the downside, right? And if it does here over the next few days, hits my target on the chart, I'm out of the position, booking my profit, and I move on. If I am dead wrong, the most I can lose is whatever I pay for the option. The most I can lose is $145, and the only way I lose that is if I hold all the way up to expiration. I can always close out a little bit early if I need to and take a partial loss. I'm better controlling my risk, all right? And that's how we put it into practice. Doesn't matter if it's Halliburton, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, the criteria remains the same. I don't trade Apple any differently than I trade Halliburton. The rules, the steps that I just outlined remain the same. It gives me that rule-based system that I can trust on any market. Now, I also promise you some trade management rules. You can always turn the dials here. All I ask is that if you change any of the rules here, any of the numbers, make sure you do the testing. Make sure the testing backs up any changes that you make. By default, I recommend on the target side, target 50 to 75%. Look for that 50 to 75% return for your targets using a stop of 50%. Just take whatever price you paid for that option, divide it in half. That's your stop price. Limit the damage on the losing trade so you can live to fight another trade. Never be in that situation where the outcome of one trade impacts your ability to take the next trade. It's all a numbers game. I don't know which trades are going to win and which trades are going to lose. You don't either. It's all a numbers game and making sure that we're winning more than we're losing. If I can do that and keep my risk small, you're going to be around for the long haul in a very good situation. Now, a couple of tips here. We've already touched on it. Trade liquid markets. The liquidity is going to help you get in and out faster and at good pricing. Very, very important. Trade multiple markets. We already touched on that as well. Keep that risk small. Spread your capital into many names. Have some tech trades on, some energy, some financial names. Mix it up as much as you can. That diversification will come in handy long term. Don't let the risk get out of hand. We recommend risking between 2 and 5% of your account per trade. Again, never want to be in that situation where the trades that you have on impact whether you can take trades going forward. Keep that risk very, very small and buy more time. If there's ever any doubt, the biggest mistake I see traders making right now, next to not having a system in place, but just going too aggressive with their approach, just trading the daily options, the weekly options, just swinging for the fences. In reality, as a newer trader, regardless of how much experience you have, going out further in time is the more forgiving route. It's going to give you more time for your directional outlook to play out. Mix up those trades. You're going to be far better off for it long term. So that's what we do. That's what we do with our bearish trades on a weekly basis. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to post a comment here on the video, or you can reach out through email, info@netpicks.com. We do have a video on our page that covers the long calls. We'd love to have you watch that, get that criteria in place as well. And if you find that information beneficial, we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. We'll be producing content here going forward. And if you have any topics that you would like us to cover, you can always let us know and we'll get those resources to you. All right, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I'll be back with you guys shortly with our next video.
Everything discussed here is our opinion, and it is not to be taken as investment advice because we are not your financial advisor, nor have we considered your personal situation as your fiduciary. This presentation is for your education and entertainment only. Please review NetPicks' full risk disclaimer and privacy policy.